secondary technical. And when they know that the school has the facilities to give them the needed results, no parents will bother to bring their child down south. So these are the things that I think the Minister of Education should be much more interested in. What is our data concerning our schools? What is the plan to make sure that, because for example, again, when you go to, I did my Form 1 in Tadisco. It's a day school, okay? And then Tadisco then again would have been considered as a Category C school. But progressively, improvement in terms of facilities to the school. Last time when I visited there about a couple of months ago, some private sector support has built them one of the best science laboratories in the region. And then when you look at their entry gate and the entire landscaping and the rest, so it's become a very attractive environment for teaching and learning. And when you look at the results coming out of that school, it has also improved significantly. So as Kwesi said, if you put a headmaster in that school who has all the experience and everything from Category A school, what the headmaster is going to do is to instill discipline. But who ensures quality of teaching? Where are the facilities for the children to go to lab, have a computer center to be able to be equipped properly by teaching to be able to pass their exams? And all of this, you need government to provide those infrastructure, government to provide those logistics, and stop, we waste a lot of resources in other areas of education that we could have used to build these things. And just if you take away even education, there are certain areas we also spend resources on that doesn't generate the needed impact that you want to see. And so we need to balance our priorities. Where are we building our next generation? How do we make sure that we standardize facilities across the country so that, of course, Mfantsipim or Adisa will remain Mfantsipim or Adisa, but where did they come from? Somebody built it. And so we can build other schools so that in the next 10, 20, 30 years, those schools we call today Category C or B can become the same as Achimota and Prempeh College.
Moro, I mean, one of the best examples of standardization of education was under the Nkrumah government. I think it was the time when Mr. Kojo Botu was Minister of Education, when they built all these schools.
The National Dagu Memorials and GSTS and all.
Master, you go to the schools and there's no difference. All the dormitories are the same. All the classrooms are the same. The structure is the same. The equipment is the same, and so on. And it doesn't matter whether you're going to a school in the north or you're going to a school in the south or in the east. There's a certain level of standardization. You understand? And that was one of the bold attempts that the Nkrumah government made in order to eliminate this whole thing about good schools and bad schools and so on. Another example is the e-blocks that President Mahama's administration built in his first term.
Okay, I'd allow you to land on this e-blocks.
Yeah.
But we need to do this quickly, I beg you.
Okay.
You're watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. Please stay with us.
Start your kids' day the right way, filled with confidence to take on any challenge. Pepsodent Kids contains the right amount of fluoride and sugar acid protection to care for their developing gums and teeth. Grab either orange or strawberry so they brush with the sweet flavor they love morning and evening. Pepsodent Kids, giving your children a bright smile for a brighter future.
This Sometimes the unexpected happens and the hero falls down in his own story. But he needs not stay down for long. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance is your trusted health partner. Whether an individual building a business, with Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern. For the best health insurance solutions for corporate institutions, groups and associations, families and individuals, choose Cosmopolitan Health Insurance from our over 700 accredited health service providers nationwide. Call us on 0302 540 668 or 0501 678 547 for all your health insurance solutions. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern.
I'm a brand manager. Of course, I accept only quality and affordable printed souvenirs for my promotional campaigns.
I'm the head of academic affairs of a very important institution in Ghana. Of course, we only deal with quality, reliable printing companies for our institution's printing materials. I'm talking about appointed time printing.
Appointed Time Printings. We take pride in our extensive print scope that transform your ideas into captivating visual masterpieces. We delve into the core objectives and vision of each print project. Precision printing is at the heart of our printing process as we meet your tight deadlines. Our rigorous inspection, color verification, and overall printing excellence are assured. 20 years of printing excellence. It's always a pleasure working with you to create a vibrant, dazzling printing experience that gives you a masterpiece. Appointed Time Printing, your world of quality and affordable printing.
Ama, nansi mi jeno wo bin enko ye kwao. Ama ma ye bohu se kontomra akija.
Nansi me hu se me nyo basima kura. Ama me kunu me into kwankwa. Oh you right. Enye mo ko. Give us GC mixture. And in the capsules, I am boom, and want some Namokana. A bois and ma and a memina. Nema ba ye obesima. Na bear must why ye bemessima. Ya, with the brown, I'm a neck giant sour the shelly bottom. No, when you yan and into sessing you all you chop one. GC mixture and a capsule. Achisa.
A pin for a batter, one more menu for one and Quada when you fear to me.
Wabed doom, time aso. Hey, J. Watch it, na learning. Missy, watch and learn. Makwama Besisia. A bozig. I could say no ya conati and the mod drink woman. Hey. But I didn't mean. Oh, sorry. She knew her old dish. Eddie, Dabio, baby womb. Ready? Hey, baby womb. Ah, Eddie. I'll cause some discomfort. Ah. Sorry, well, uncle, where would I die? Why your funeral? At your phone for Aerofield Trading. Sorry, it killed them all.
No mum share Nanda Daya was mosquito call is to do a munumu. Na say spray with them musa. Chaisima a dronum and sana ko dynamo.
And Kratoi FDA Ajatum.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
The second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa, dear. Why wouldn't he be late? Obey him later.
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. Go be the luckiest, copy from Georgia be luckiest, from not the block she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. Nobody know why you're luckiest. Everybody go be the luckiest.
boom. If you put it away, so would the coming of the Son of Man be. Is that his car?
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompts and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Victory, celebration, legacy. It's 40 years of Jesus is our victory. Join Victory Bible Church International for the Wonderful Jesus Conference 2025. A power-packed celebration marking 40 glorious years of God's faith and God's grace. It all begins on Saturday, 12th October with the Mega Praise and Worship Night, a night of pure gratitude and praise. Then get ready for the Wonder Walk on October 25th, a citywide walk of testimony and victory. From October 27th to the 30th of October, the Wonderful Jesus Conference continues live at the VBCI Dominion Sanctuary, Awoshi Junction. Expect nothing but divine encounters, miracles, and transformation. On October 31st, meet us at the Independence Square for a nationwide gathering of worship, power, and the Word. Then on November 1st, join the outreach program at Mancho Agbona. Then let's touch lives and share the love of Jesus Christ. And finally, the grand service at the Independence Square on November 2nd. Come and witness the glory of 40 years of victory. Ministering are Bishop N.A. Takiyaboy, Bishop Clement Amankwa Isehine, Bishop Elijah Saforo, and Bishop Emmanuel Akon. Wonderful Jesus Conference 2025. 40 years of grace, power, and impact. From the 12th of October to the 2nd of November. Victory Bible Church International invites you to celebrate Jesus because Jesus is our victory.
You're watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. The show is also live on 94.1 FM. Here with us is Mr. Kwesi Pratt Jr., who is a seasoned journalist and also an elderly statesman. Also, Isaac Boamanyako, MP for Efia, and also a lawyer. Obviously, you're talking about the importance of the e-blocks that was started by the Etoile government.
If you move from the Nkrumah era, one of the other attempts, bold and courageous attempts to equalize, the standard of education and so on, was the e-blocks project, which was started under the Mahama administration. So it doesn't matter where you are. If you go to the north and it's an e-block, it's an e-block. Yeah. And it looks the same as an e-block in the south, and so on. So that was a bold attempt at standardization, and I think that is the way to go. The way to go is to standardize. The way to go is to make sure that all schools have the same facilities, to achieve a certain level of equality in the standard of education and so on, It also has to do with the personnel that you have. Not just the teaching personnel, also municipals and so on. And usually, the best personnel are attracted to schools which have decent bungalows and so on. So if you're building a school, again, standardization ought to look at the facilities available to teaching staff, teaching and non-teaching staff. That adds as an incentive and so on. These are the things that we need to look at. But as I've said, all of this will require huge resources. Question is, do we have the resources? And if we don't have the resources, how do we mobilize the resources And one of the ways of mobilizing resources is to take resources from some places and put it where they are most needed or where they make the most impact. And there are so many things that we do, which, as far as I'm concerned, should not be considered as national priority. I mean, this attempt to freeze purchases of luxury cars for government officials and so on, I think it's a sensible attempt if we do it well. Mm-hmm. The attempt to reduce the number of government employees, especially at the ministerial level and so on, I think is a sensible thing which should be encouraged. So there are a number of things that we can do in order to get some resources which we can then put into education, which eventually benefits all the sectors of national life and eventually leads to the improvement of the quality of citizenship and so on. So these are things we can look at from time to time,
Isaac, is it just a matter of standardizing the quality of educational system, or it's also an issue of some schools have just gained names, so it won't matter what the standard of teaching or the quality of the infrastructure and the logistics and amenities that the school can boast of. But I just want my child to go to Holy Child or Wesley Girls or Adisado College. I mean, yes, I agree. You're doing a fantastic job. But I mean, per se, I just wanted to be on his CV that he attended the school, because there are actually businesses in Ghana that would always prefer people who are products of certain senior high schools and certain universities over others, for whatever reason.
So
do you get a point?
I get the point you are making, but the question has always been, over the years, how many children have gained access to these first-class schools compared to the total number of students who have had access to education? So whether you like it or not, the first-class schools are there, and they've been built over time to create very good old students who find themselves in various positions of influence. And so when it comes to even getting employment in some organizations, and they see your CV and they realize that you completed this school at this year, and they themselves are old boys, there are some sympathies that you get along that line. But my question has always been, what is the extent of that kind of privilege to people who attend those schools? For me, it is about making sure that we build a human resource base that is capable of competing with any other person across the world in terms of what they have acquired in learning. And so if a child goes to Krobo Girls, or Odumase, or goes to whichever school in this country, is the child being trained and equipped in such a way that should they all move from their secondary school to Legon or Tech or UDS or UPSC, they would all have the needed base to be able to compete at the university level. And that should be our prioritization. And my argument is, when these things are done and done well, where facilities are spread across, where people get the needed teaching and experience and skill, over time, these schools would also be noted for producing old students or people who are also of similar caliber, like we are talking about in this Adel and Vice and all. So my position has to do with, if you go to other jurisdictions, everybody is sending their children to a localized school. In fact, there is no thinking around you staying in New York or staying in California or anywhere and then having an opportunity to send your child to a secondary school outside your environment or county. Okay, because the facilities that you find there are similar to anywhere in America. And then the teaching quality, but of course, at the end of the day, they even do grading. And you realize, okay, even in New York, this county offers a little more quality of service than the other. But per the American standards, all of them are good enough to be able to move onto the next level. So what is the variance between category A, category B, and category C? Is it wide to the extent that anybody that goes to category C is completely disadvantaged? And that is what we see. The gap is too wide. The gap between category A, B, and C is too wide that if your child goes to category C school, the likelihood that he will not end up with the needed results to be able to build his potential. And all of these potential are there. It depends on who is tapping them. What is the quality of teaching, like we said? How many teachers are ready to cross the river to the other side and sleep there when there's no electricity or reliable power? How many children or teachers are ready to go into a community where you have no bungalows or teachers' flats for them to stay in, whilst at the end of the day, they are taking the same salary like a colleague who is on the mountain somewhere in Cape Coast and having a teacher's bungalow, having DSTV, having all of these. And even when it comes to speech and prize giving day, they are rewarded even in addition to that. So we need to do that. But Muro, let me end by commenting on this concern by parents of paying huge sums of money for placement into these secondary schools. In fact, in the constituency last week and early this week, I've had parents literally coming to me to support them to go and pay money to these schools. Some are charging as high as 15,000 to be able. Where did we? And this is not peculiar to this particular admission. It existed in years past. The former Minister for Education tried to see how best it should be kept. Now the concern is that the fee that people are even charging for these placements is skyrocketing. So previously, if they were taking 5,000, now the same schools, people are taking 10,000, people are taking 15,000. And I'm worried because it's supposed to be a free senior high school. And so if there's an advance payment to get your child into school, and parents are being charged 15,000 and 10,000, and it's all over. And governments have said nothing. The Minister of Education has said, Ministry of Education have said nothing about ways to curb it and what they are doing to stop these placements, and assure parents that these placements are not at the whims and caprices of people within the ministry or the school placement system, and so no parents should pay those money. But the reality is that the moment they pay, they get their children placed. And so we need to curb that canker. We need to find a solution to it, because we can't have a school placement system that is still compromised with people paying huge sums of money before their children go to school.
Because it defeats the very essence of implementing the CSSPs.
Exactly. It defeats it. And I'm worried that till now, there's been no public pronouncement by the ministry or the Minister of Education assuring parents. And they are also not bringing anybody out there to name, shame, and to prosecute for involving or indulging in such bad practice in our education sector.
But I think that the Minister of Education, to be fair to him, has decried the practice. He's asked those who have experiences or those who have evidence that they've been asked to pay some money in order to get the awards placed in specific schools and so on, to come forward with it without evidence in order for the perpetrators to be brought to book. But I doubt if any parents would do that. You know, I doubt if that's going to happen. But anyway.
You see, Moro, there's just a small point there. Our country and our system should be able to track. Why do we have national security? Why do we have the NIB? Why is it that in such a setting, we don't get our investigative arm to also get themselves involved in finding out some of these things and to get culprits, but always stay back and say, if you have evidence, bring the evidence. You know the thing is happening. We know if someone asked me to give him money to support him to go and pay, and I didn't, when I was sharing my mattress, God is my witness. There's a woman who had been harassing me to send a child to Infant Supreme School. The child got aggregate 8 or so. I have the text message here. And then I said, Infant Supreme, I don't know anybody there that I can get you. Then she forced me and said I should send the particulars to someone I know. So I have it here. I forwarded it to one of my colleague MPs to see if the MP can assist. I couldn't reach out to the MP, but I forwarded the details to the person. Then a week or two down the line, the lady said it has gone through. So I said, hey, then let me call the MP and thank him. Then she said, no. Honorable, I had to pay 10,000 cedis. She said it to my face. I said, oh. So she said, yes, I had to pay 10,000 cedis. So in compensating her, or just to say I appreciate her effort, I had to add the son to the list of those I was going to award. So I gave the son the trunk and the mattress and the exercise books to be able to go to school. So we live this particular practice day in, day out. And I think it is unfair for parents to go borrow. She had to literally borrow because she couldn't understand why the son had aggregate 7 or 8 and couldn't get placement to school. And how could she have paid that amount of money and then still get this school?
All right. So let's take a flight to China. I don't know how many hours it is from. I haven't been to China before, but I'm told it's about 24 hours or so. Yes. So we'll try if we can do it. We'll do it in less than 24 hours. But specifically to Beijing, there's a big event, or there was a big event that happened on Monday and Tuesday. It's about the Global Leaders Meeting on Women Affairs, and essentially it's to talk about women empowerment and so on. I mean, it's about the matters that affect women and the empowerment. But of course, as president of this country, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, also, as we're told him before he left town by this communicated period, the Jubilee communications, there will be other things you do, like the Presidential Investment Forum, where business investors and businesses will come together with the Ghanaians and look at how best they can forge some kind of partnerships and so on and so forth. So, but there have been some fallouts. It appears that the two major fallouts from this trip has been the tariff-free. It's called the
zero
tariff. Yes. It's called the zero tariff export. So actually, it's called the export tariff-free access to the Chinese markets by the end of October. So today, the Daily Guide reports it, and also the president, when he was giving a speech at the Global Leaders Forum on Women, made some comments about the fact that soon Ghana would have a female president. And people have given it all kinds of interpretations, you know. Some have actually even suggested that the president is backing his vice president to succeed him. And some are saying, no, that's not it. I don't know whether, so perhaps let's start from that softer political side, and we can come to the real hardcore economics and business and so on, which has to do with the Ghanaian export tariff-free access. I don't know, but okay, so let me read the story first, and then I can bring Uncle Kwesi in. So Ernest Kofi Addo says that President John Dramani Mahama has secured a trade agreement with China that will grant over 98% of Ghanaian exports tariff-free access to the Chinese market by the end of October 2025. The zero tariff deal, once finalized, is expected to significantly boost Ghana's export earnings and position the country as a key trading hub in West Africa. The breakthrough came during President Mahama's participation in the Global Leaders Meeting on Women held in Beijing from October 13 to 14, 2025. The summit, co-chaired by Chinese President Xi Jinping and UN Women, focused on advancing gender equality and women's empowerment. President Xi reaffirmed China's commitment to gender equality, pledging $10 million to UN Women to support global initiatives. President Mahama, in an address, highlighted Ghana's progress in women's leadership, citing the election of the country's first female vice president as a milestone achievement. He also called for bold, transformative actions to promote inclusion and equality across the world. In bilateral discussions marking 45 years of diplomatic relations between Ghana and China, both leaders agreed to deepen cooperation in trade, green technology, and sustainable development. Today, China is Ghana's largest trading partner, with bilateral trade reaching $11.8 billion in 2024. Ghana and China are bound by a common conviction that progress is most meaningful when it uplifts all our people, President Mahama said. So the right. So there's quite a number of things that there's a plan to establish Green Digital City, which spans the Greater Accra, Eastern and Volta regions. You know, there's also Ghana wanted to become a global leader in green industrialization, announcing plans to partner with Chinese investors in responsible extraction and local processing, and so on. There's also discussions centered on strengthening economic and infrastructure partnerships and supporting Ghana's 24-hour economy initiative, you know, particularly in agriculture, agro-processing, and value addition. So these are some of the things that, issues that came up. But if you look at today's Informer, the Informer decides to look at an entirely different angle. And it says Mahama predicts Nana Jane's presidency and touts Ghana's women empowerment agenda. And it's a News Desk report that says that His Excellency...
Do one.
Yes, so we'll do, and then we'll do the other. That's the whole... No, if I want us to...
Different.
No, I'm bringing the two so that once you're done, you can move to the next issue. It says His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama has not limited his belief in Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyemang's integrity, dedication, and vision for Ghana as an ideal leader domestically, but escalated same to the international stage. Addressing participants of the Global Leaders Meeting on Women in Beijing on October 12, President Mahama, who could not hide his unwavering trust in the capabilities of his Vice President in particular, and Ghanaian women in general, having excelled in sensitive leadership positions, predicted that Ghana was ready for a female president in the near future. All right. Okay, so let me start with you. Which of the angles would you want to look at first? Is it Professor Jane's angle first, or the deal that struck with China?
First of all, I'm so very happy that the president of Ghana decided to go to China to work on improving relations with China. And this is because I believe very strongly that given the challenges that face us, our best options for international partnership to get out of poverty and misery and so on is China. China is offering, you know, something which is not on offer from the World Bank and the IMF, and is also not on offer from the Western capitalist states. China is offering us something that I think we should take advantage of. One of the most important things that China has offered is the Belt and Road Initiative, which is largely to make resources available for expansion, rebuilding and expansion of national infrastructure. And for me, this is so very important because if you look at national infrastructure, it is all designed to facilitate a continued neo-colonial exploitation. You look at our railways, all of the railways in Ghana start from areas of the concentration of wealth. So it starts from diamond-producing areas, gold-producing areas, bauxite extracting areas, timber-producing areas, and so on. And where do they end up? All of that ends up in the port. This is typical of the colonial economy. It hasn't changed. Now, if we are to build new economies, you know, based on our own aspirations and so on, we need to change national infrastructure. And I think that the Belt and Road Initiative offered by China gives us the opportunity for rebuilding of national infrastructure with a new orientation. Besides, the Chinese do not have the rigid conditions that the West has. In the West, aid, assistance, and so on are seen as foreign policy instruments. In China, they are not foreign policy instruments. You know, China believes that it needs itself to overcome bullying especially by the US and so on, that the only way you can do that is to cooperate with third world countries and so on. So when you deal with China, you have a win-win situation. You understand? So I'm so very happy that the President, John Dramani Mahama, recognized this and decided to go to China and has been received at the highest level in Chinese society.
Well, before you go ahead, help us appreciate this. So he's been to Japan, he's been to Singapore, and now in China. Do you see any sort of a shift in foreign policy relative to the kinds of countries that we want to build business with? I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking aloud. I'm just thinking aloud.
You're allowed to think aloud,
Yes,
but
I mean,
allow me to say what I want to say
right.
the way I want to say it. Okay. Yes. So I noticed that there's this development, and I think that it's a very important development. And one of the issues which has come up during this, when I was talking about how he was received by President Xi Jinping himself, and was given a befitting welcome. You know, we are comparing Ghana to China, you know, so you know what I'm talking about. And he was given more than a befitting welcome. And I'm happy that he was able to meet at these very, very high levels and discuss important matters of trade and Chinese assistance and so on. Now, one of the things which has come up is the zero tariff offer by the Chinese. Interestingly, this is not a new offer.
Right.
It's an old offer. I mean, 5 years ago, I heard about this 5 years ago and so on. And it is not an offer which is being made exclusively to Ghana. I think this zero tariff regime is virtually for all African countries. Okay. I think it's a good initiative. And the president says that we have to tie up the loose ends by the end of October. I'm hoping that we'll be able to do that. And we then will be able to take advantage of the export market in China and boost our exports. I'm told that over the last couple of years, we have increased our exports to China by only 11%. Within the same period, Chinese exports to Ghana have increased by 45%. I think we need to work towards reaching a certain balance in the trade between Ghana and China. There are a number of... China is developing very, very fast. I mean, the Chinese leaders are thinking outside the box and so on. So one of the things that we used to export to China, and China was interested in, was our cocoa. Now China is producing its own cocoa, and it's doing it, you know, with the most modern, you know, methods and so on. So we may not, in the very short distance, be able to send cocoa to China because China may be producing more cocoa than we produce, and they may be producing better quality cocoa and so on. So that's a problem. But China is also interested in oil and gas, you know. Unfortunately, we are not even producing enough for our own consumption. So then, what is it that we can offer China? And it would then appear that what we may be able to offer China will be some minerals. For example, China is very big on electric car manufacturing. It's the biggest, you know, in the world today. And we appear to have a lot of lithium. Is it possible to engage with the Chinese and make lithium available and so on? So these are discussions that ought to continue. The zero tariff rate, you know, I think is very, very important. Far more important than AGUA. You know, AGUA, which was offered by the United States, had too many caveats. The Chinese don't have those caveats. So relationship between Ghana and China improving, it's very good.
No, we see this
and I like to go back to the early 1960s. To the time when China and Ghana had excellent relationships. And you'll be surprised that the excellent relationship between China and Ghana was anchored on a personal relationship between Premier Zhou Enlai and President Nkrumah. I mean, the two of them had a chemistry which was incredible. They got on very, very well. And that chemistry between the two leaders helped to advance Chinese and Ghanaian interests. It also helped China to contribute significantly to the national liberation struggle in Africa. China was a major contributor to the national liberation struggle in Africa, provided arms, provided diplomatic support, and so on. And it's been narrowed down to the personal chemistry between Premier Zhou Enlai and President Nkrumah. It seems to me that that kind of chemistry is developing between President Xi Jinping and President Mahama. And I'm very, very happy about these developments. I think we should cultivate this relationship and see how best what we can get out of it. A couple of years ago, I was in China on a private visit. My visits are usually private. And I was having a conversation with a Chinese official. And the Chinese official was very shocked. At the time, the IMF was giving us, I think, $250 million. We had sent a whole delegation, finance minister, everybody was in Washington, because of $250 million. The Chinese at the time were offering us between $6 to $12 billion, and we're not paying attention to the Chinese. So I think that this incredible subservience to the West ought to stop. And there's a lot more to be gained by deepening cooperation with China. And I'm happy that the president went to China. I'm happy at the results of the trip. And I do hope that something very concrete can come out of this relationship with China. There are a number of projects here which are game changers, major game changers. And one of them is the petroleum hub, which is being built in the Western region, the petroleum hub. It's the second biggest project in the whole of Africa. And if you're able to get the Chinese interested in the petroleum hub idea and so on, it may benefit us in many ways. I mean, that's an attempt to position Ghana as the Rotterdam of Africa. If you look at the price build-up of petroleum products and so on, you find this phrase, ex-Rotterdam. So Rotterdam is a reference point. Now, Rotterdam doesn't produce crude, does it? And yet it has become a petroleum hub. So this whole idea of building this petroleum hub, I think is a fantastic idea. It's supposed to cost, I think, in the realm of about $60 billion. Makes it the second biggest project in Africa. So if you can interest the Chinese in this whole idea of a petroleum hub and so on, I think it would be very, very useful, and so on.
Okay. Professor Jane.
I think one at a time.
Okay.
One at a time. I mean, you are so anxious to discuss Professor Nana Jane that...
We'll get there.
Why is the anxiety coming?
Actually, I'll come back.
Why is the anxiety coming?
He's excited about a future female Ghana president.
She's a
well, I think everybody should be excited.
She's a fine brain.
I think everybody should be excited about the opportunity to women to excel in our politics, industry, and commerce, and so on.
I think so. Your thoughts, but I think what about the concerns that some people have, which is, look, this blank check they were given to China may also risk collapsing our local industry because even with the tariffs, we've seen how China products are everywhere. And now there's no tariff, they're going to jump. Or you think we should wait and look at a list of items that China can...
It is your advantage, not your advantage. You can export without tariff impositions to the Chinese market.
But can we compete with them production-wise?
What competition?
We're supposed to produce things and export it to China, isn't it?
So you have to look at your advantage. No. What is it that you have advantage in? You have natural resources that China doesn't have.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying. Okay, we need to know, we need to have, and I'm happy that the details have been finalized by the end of the month, because we ought to be able to tell, just like Agua did, what items are the Chinese government expecting us to import into their country? and what items they were expecting to, to export into Ghana, so that if we're the ones that we have a competitive advantage of, we'll say, well, as for this one, don't export it to Ghana. We can get our people to produce it locally. We need those fine details to be able to tell whether we may be disadvantaged in some sense or not. I don't know where you stand on this.
Interesting. For me, I ask myself, what actually did the president travel to China to do? What did he seek to achieve? So that at the end of the day, we'll be very clear in our minds that his return from China is going to yield the kind of results that we want as a country. Remember that Ghana sits as just one of the countries in Africa. And Africa, for a long time, has had its own challenges when it comes to its play in global politics and global trade. So, as Africans, over the years, we've become more dependent than independent. And our geopolitical rule when it comes to trade has been seeking for aid rather than partnership in terms of our developmental landscape. So is the president in China seeking for aid or is in China looking for partnership for the development of Ghana and Africa as a whole? You remember we had this AFTA. AFTA sought to bring Africa together in terms of trade and built a very strong base for African, inter-Africa trade. The total population of Africa in this context is about 1.4 billion. And so if you look at this population and you ask yourself, even with AFTA, what have we done to take advantage of inter-African trading? We set the AFTA headquarters in Ghana. And after how many years now, we've still not exploited even the opportunities that AFTA provides. So when you go to China and you are being told that China is providing you free, zero tariff and what have you, it is there on paper for African countries. As Kwesi said, our Ghana-China trading is running 11 to 45%. Even when China is dealing hugely with other markets, in Ghana alone, this small country called Ghana, they are even exporting more than we, when offered these opportunities, are exporting. So who wins? So my difficult context in all of this is that Africa, particularly Ghana, has not situated itself well to be a global player, but is only seeking for aid or trying to still be dependent on global powers for their survival. Check the African population. We have the most youngest population, averaging about 19 years, meaning that the power of having human resource capacity, if we want to go into innovation, if we want to go into trade, a building of industrialization, we have the human resource to build it. But what has been our own creation of industries in this country? You are talking about zero tariff. How do you export when you don't have the factories, when you don't have the industries to develop and grow these markets? What has the president himself done in creating opportunities for Ghanaians and other investors to develop our manufacturing sector? Where does our tax regime or our exemptions regime seek to promote in this country? And so we will go to China, have all this fanfare, the president will sit in a Chinese-built vehicle and come back to Ghana with nothing to show. Because at the end of the day, we are ill-prepared in terms of where we want to sit or situate ourselves within this whole inter-global trade. And that for me is where my challenge is coming from. The president traveled with all of these ministers. For 1 year, we are in 10 months under his administration. All the policies that government had initiated or talked about, whether it is which one, the agric sector enhancement, what have you, whether it is the big push, what all the policies that governments have initiated in this year, there's been no resource to push this agenda. We are only trying to manage our macroeconomics, but there's very little happening in terms of our industrialization drive, in terms of our manufacturing space. And so what exactly are we seeking? I still believe that as a country, we have done very little in situating ourselves as a country within the global economy who wants to be competitive. Uncle Kwesi talked about lithium and all of those. When the president was going to China, what was he offering on the table for China to take advantage of in this partnership? What are the business opportunities that sit in Ghana, that Ghana has competitive advantage over, for which you want Chinese investors to come in and partner us to do? And so I'm very worried when we have our president and our government officials traveling and signing agreements and signing partnerships, but at the end of the day, we don't see it reflect on the table.
But you're questioning our productive or our production capacity.
Yes.
The last time I checked, we have about 321 districts. 321 factories across, I guess, 142 districts that are operating under the one district, one factory, according to the records that you left us.
That's correct.
Okay, as Ghanaians.
Yes.
So you don't think that these 321 factories can have what it takes to produce something for the Chinese market?
And you ask yourself, when the government took over, did they see any positive thing in this particular policy? Did they evaluate to see the benefits and the challenges thereon, to refashion it and reposition it, to develop our industries or businesses in
Elizabeth
Ghana?
Ejari says they will continue with.
They took away all the incentives for those areas. 10 months down the line, they've not been able to give us a clear direction as to how we want to. You see, when you inherit a particular idea from a regime, the 1D, 1F, of course, it was a political direction. But when you come into power, you have to review it and place it in a context that the country can benefit. We don't just throw it away because it was initiated by a particular regime. The essence of it was to boost trade, was to boost production in this country. And so if you come in and then everything around it is relegated or sidelined, then at the end of the day, you ask yourself that, what have we done? What have we done to promote industrialization in this country?
Okay.
And so I believe that we should look at Ghana and Africa becoming more self-reliant, making sure that we build our international relationship with these. Of course, these are big economies. And so when you are trading or having partnership with these big economies, there are always opportunities for you to exploit. And that is why I ask myself, what are the opportunities that government went onto this table with? Going into China, how prepared have we positioned? Because you see, government has drawn its own policies for the year, and for the next 4 years, its priority areas. How does that sit with these engagements, for international engagement, so that Ghana can grow, Ghana can build its resources, Ghana can position itself to build the industries that we need, create the employment that we need as a country? But we don't do those things.
Okay.
We don't do those things.
Okay.
Uncle Kwesi talked about even the railway lines from colonial time. I sit here and I'm asking myself, why is it that we've not been able to even build railway lines connecting the south to the north?
But it was part of the Sino-Hydro deal that the vice president during your time struck with the Chinese. Question is, what has happened? What happened to that deal?
Exactly my point.
Because almost all the agreements that were reached with the Chinese till today, most of them, about 90% of them have not been implemented.
So with this background and all the fanfare...
In fact, it is the reason why we're told that the president intends to hold discussions with the Chinese on the Sino-Hydro deal. Because I'm sure that the president wants to have a deep understanding of what exactly went into the deal. Because as we speak, there are some debts that ought to be paid. You know, we don't want to bore Ghanaians, our viewers, on what exactly the deal entailed. But whatever it is, it was some kind of a barter agreement. We give you a bauxite and you're supposed to develop one or two, several of our infrastructure. A lot of those things have still not happened. Anyway, Ngozi.
Yeah, I mean, look, the president went to China to attend a conference on women empowerment. I think that was the primary reason for him going to China. And whilst in China, he has engaged with the Chinese authorities, including the president, to discuss economic and trade relations. You understand? The details are emerging, and it is obvious that the Belt and Road Initiative is one of the options that we are looking at. It's also obvious that we are looking at the offer of zero tariffs for a number of African countries, including Ghana. So concretely, there are things on the table. Now, my brother here suggests that we are not taking advantage of the one district, one factory program. And whatever was on offer then in order to improve the trade and economic relations with China. I would have been happier if he had told us what those opportunities specifically are. Because I've had a lot of difficulty with this one district, one factory project.
Why?
He knows, and you do know. I go to Tamale, and I see a motor-king assembly plant, which existed 25 years earlier, listed as 1D1F. That's fraudulent, isn't it?
No, so
no, but Ngozi,
that's clearly fraudulent, isn't it?
The NPP's manifesto was also clear. Mm-hmm. The NPP's manifesto didn't talk about starting a company from the ground.
It's a combination of...
They will support existing businesses.
That is correct.
And that includes a motor-king assembly plant, which had existed in Tamale 20 years before the government came into power.
Needed assistance to
How
to
do
grow.
you incorporate that into the current discussions with the Chinese government?
No, my conversation...
You are going to incorporate that
no.
in the current discussions with the Chinese government.
Can't we produce motor and export it, China? Can't we produce motor and export it to Ghana?
Produce motor-king in Ghana and export to China. More be a little serious. Please, stop the joke.
My
motor-king,
my comment on the 1D1F. My comment on the 1D1F was not connected to trade with China.
Okay.
It was in the context of creating opportunities, building industries and companies that will be able to provide the needed export to either AfTA, which is our African trading partners, and outside Africa.
Yes.
So in that light...
So you're saying the same thing?
No.
Because I think the matter had to do with what can we produce?
No, but we are looking beyond China.
What advantages do we have in our economic
so that's when
relations
so that's when the 1D matter came up.
That's a legitimate question to ask.
Yes.
But when you bring it down to one district, one factory level, we are going to
but that is where you also building your industrialization. We need to have a national policy.
Assembling motor
but it goes beyond it. Uncle Kwesi, are you saying that you've not seen other companies built under 1D1F that manufactures and exports?
Mention them, we are here. If you mention them...
I should mention the names of the companies.
If you mention them, I will accept. Mention them.
No, but this is a statement of fact. I'm surprised you say that the 1D1F...
I'm not saying that is not a statement of fact.
So why should I... But you also know. You also know several companies.
Not telling me anything.
Uncle Kwesi.
Masha, I beg.
Uncle Kwesi. So it's all, and these are some of the things we need to be mindful as a country, that when companies or government creates opportunities for us to build our industrialization base and to make sure that, because our economy thrives on export, not just import. And so any opportunity, if you check those in the manufacturing of sanitary ware, go and check the companies that are producing sanitary ware and exporting out of this jurisdiction. Look at companies that have taken advantage of our agro industry and are exporting out of this country. And so you look at what businesses see outside the country, and then we take advantage of, build those capacities, provide government enabling environment so that those places will thrive.
Okay.
And the same way with this zero tariff, government, and that's where I'm coming from, government should be able to clearly know how are they positioning the country to take advantage of. And you mentioned that if currently our trade with China, our export to China constitutes just 11%, and China is exporting up to 45%. Are we saying that there's of producing things that are marketable and that can be exported into China? And that is what we need to be discussing.
But that's exactly what the conversations are about. Why? I just read the report in which the president is saying that the loose ends will be tied by the end of October. You read it?
Yes, yes, yes.
And that they are discussing these matters. These are the matters on the table. It's not like they're not on the table. There are matters on the table receiving attention, being discussed very seriously. Okay? So far, China is the only country in the world which is offering Africa, not just Ghana, zero tariffs. Zero tariffs. And it's something that we should be interested in. So far, throughout the world, China is the only country which is offering us the Belt and Road Initiative. No other country anywhere, no development bank is offering us that opportunity and so on. So let's discuss, let's come up with concrete proposals which would help us to improve trade and economic relations between Ghana and China. Finish. That's all. Unless we have some fundamental ideological or political problem with China, this, as far as I'm concerned, is a very fine opportunity.
Okay.
And I'm so very happy that the president is taking advantage of this opportunity and helping to set the pace, for improvement in economic and commercial relations with China.
So we are all on the same page. My only concern has been what has been the government's own programs. Because once you come back, you say we are tying all these loose ends. But as a country, sitting as a citizen, as a member of parliament, looking at government initiatives as rolled out, I see very little in terms of government's own positioning in taking advantage of this particular opportunity. And that is where I am coming from.
Okay.
So I'm interested in seeing after his return the kind of things that government is going to roll out that will clearly give direction to our businesses, that will give direction to our companies, that will give direction to our manufacturing industries to take advantage of these same opportunities. But I'm saying that sitting here today, looking at government's program from year to date, there is very little I can see in terms of government policy in creating that kind of framework to take advantage of the opportunity.
I see. So perhaps we'll take a short break. But Kwame Sapong Asiedu, who's a pharmacist and also a fellow with the CDD. Now, he sent me this information, and I believe that perhaps it would set the conversation in its proper perspective, because you've been asking some legitimate questions, about what really is in it for us, whether the China trip has been a successful one, because what is it that we wanted from China, and did we get it? And I'm looking at the brochure here. The brochure I'm looking at is that, so essentially what we did was we put before the Chinese government a number of projects and initiatives we're working on and seeking partnerships from them to be able to conclude that. And at the heart of it is the 24-hour economy. So I'll throw a bit more light on this but Kwame, I'm so grateful for this. Very, very useful information that you've shared with me. And one of the things Kwame does is that when we're having conversations, he would dig, and do some research, and then where he believes that there's a gap, he would try and fill it if he can. So stay with us. This is Good Morning Ghana. Please don't go anywhere.
The Momo Coffee Fadari is West Market. Go and see now. Yeah, it is so clear. Yeah, Tisho, you're 200. I'm not sure na Santa Maya pay. Ukwasanti says here factories are Kufuad and Kwasanti Mkwa 1,750 factories in Ashanti with the free power. Now 1,100 are you ready here demanding the factories there. Apia menka kubusa apia happiness of what say koloko visa happiness of what say was area na mo boka Kufuad na captain adika na mo Kufuad anya fi ama santima ebi na mebo but most factories 1,750 factories in Ashanti with the free power now 1,112 are you ready here Juma that
Start your kids' day the right way, filled with confidence to take on any challenge. Pepsodent Kids contains the right amount of fluoride and sugar acid protection to care for their developing gums and teeth. Grab either orange or strawberry so they brush with the sweet flavor they love morning and evening. Pepsodent Kids, giving your children a bright smile for a brighter future.
Me chechi ya woni nara me din eje baby dapa me di ade sonko kra na ebremo nya ode to aduane mu ama waduane e dapa na me de bremo eno any some spices dey emu wa wo bebre o various flavors ubenya eya akoko ubenya nantwie yedigu jollof mu ma emu yede ubenya yedigu nkwan mu yedigu froye mu ho na kope bito na ema waduane enye de unyimi nia yenkoni yekonko tie nyankofo eka
download your communication to the enjoy Uduba that Samu spices. One in the essence no hi. I'm going to get it Samu spices in a sa BTA daddy so say. Samu spices. Mun Samu spices. Nyama chicken.
Samu spices. In Sanaka in Kitswa, measure 10 grams. Your chicken, spaghetti, garlic and ginger, stew, can jollof, and the flavors of Bebre.
Samu spices. Yes, Saka.
FDIJ Jadien Kratoyatum.
In life, choice is good, but choice plus safety is way better. Your safety and comfort is paramount. Under the cylinder recirculation model, you can buy LPG in a safe environment. All cylinders are inspected and maintained to the best safety standards, so your safety is assured. Just take your empty cylinder to the nearest exchange point and swap it for a filled cylinder. Different cylinder sizes will be available to meet your pocket size. Imagine cooking in a smoke-free environment. This will improve the health and well-being of you and your family. Choose LPG in a safer model of distribution. Cylinder recirculation model. Securing your safety, creating more jobs. A message from the National Petroleum Authority under the patronage of the Ministry of Energy.
Hooray, Ghana! The Ministry of Transport and its agencies invite you to the Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. It's the first of its kind in Ghana. From 22nd to 24th October 2025, the World Trade Center Accra comes alive with cars, shape, train, logistics and plane dealers all in one place. Are you a modern car dealer? Do you sell electric vehicles? Then this fair is your platform to shine. Students and the general public will experience free electric car test drives, thrilling maritime showcases and even free helicopter rides. All 15 agencies under the Ministry of Transport, plus global car dealers, airlines, logistic giants and investors will be there with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as our guest of honor. Register now at info.digitaligh.org or 0244-613-246 or visit our website www.transportlogfair.org. The Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. Beyond movement, resetting Ghana's transport future.
In my line of work, a confident smile is everything. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste keeps me on top of my game and ensures my smile is always radiant and bright.
With the tiring nature of my job, we spend several hours under the scorching sun. To keep our teeth white and our breath fresh all the time, we use none other than Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. You're on a Kessie and in a kit one.
Samayo Kendini, a who be here, Sametra Sapapadia to a mammy manful. Kel Charcoal's natural ingredients, and a bomb is so buying, a man is swing, and a sense of Mama Hotel so a will beg you.
Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Choose Kel Charcoal Toothpaste for anti-cavity, whiter teeth, and fresher breath all day. Available in 80 gram and 150 gram. Grab yours today.
Kel, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
The second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be late? Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. Yeah, you go be the luckiest. Copy from Georgia be luckiest. From not the cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. No matter why you're lucky, everybody go be the luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Send your God up boom. If you're poor, what's that? So would the coming of the Son of Man be.
Hey.
Is that his car?
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompts and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
You're still watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. My name is Awudu Moro, and I'm here with Mr. Kwesi Pratt Jr., a seasoned journalist and also an elderly statesman, and also Isaac Buamanyankun, who is MP for the Efia constituency, and also a lawyer. So, as I did indicate, I did mention before we took that break, Kwame Sapasiedu sent me this. So, apparently, we made a pitch to the Chinese government, and as I was saying earlier, that the heart of the pitch that we made to the Chinese government is the 24-hour economy and also the big push. And then we sort of gave them areas that were seeking strong partnership from the Chinese. Now, if you listen to his opening remarks, or his opening speech during the Presidential Business Forum, let me read this portion where he says that our government has created a welcoming environment for foreign direct investment. This includes a stable political landscape and a legal framework that provides constitutional protections for your ventures. We are particularly focused on tangible opportunities across a range of vital sectors, including agriculture, manufacturing, mining, and technology. As you consider your next move, I invite you to see Ghana not just as a place to invest, but as a home for your business. So let us use this forum to go beyond conversations. Let us build lasting relationships, explore concrete opportunities, and establish partnerships that will benefit both our people for generations to come. I am confident that together we can build a future of shared prosperity. And notice that everything else that's been put on this brochure is also translated in Chinese, you know. So it isn't as though Ghana was not too clear in her mind exactly what it wants from the Chinese people. It's made a pitch to them. This is what we're doing back home. This is where areas that we are seeking partnership so that you can come together for us to do these things. So I don't know whether that answers the question you raised earlier about what did we go to China to go and do and have we achieved our aim? Does that answer the question?
It doesn't. It doesn't at all.
Okay.
And I'm saying so because as I see it, of course, the long-standing democracy that Ghana has been enjoying is a good enabling environment for any investor to come because there's clarity of the system of governance, and then you know that the country has all that it takes for any business to come and then not be afraid that this country may fall in the hands of any military dictator or whatsoever. So the enabling environment in terms of our democracy is there, and all of us have contributed to it today. But in terms of the economic aspect, which is the most critical, is about the economic aspect of trade between Ghana and China and how we have prepared ourselves to take advantage of that relationship. Now, you talked about the 24-hour economy, and one asks itself, as we speak today, what is the 24-hour economy? What is it that government seeks to achieve in this 24-hour economy? You talk about Grow Ghana, What Ghana. They are all terminologies. There's nothing concrete on paper.
But that's a vision that's being sold.
But
a
beyond,
vision takes time.
But that vision has been there since January. We should see practical ways of implementing policies to inure to the Ghanaian benefit.
But Isaac, we've had a DVLA running a 24-hour. Ghana Ports and Harbours. The passport office. I'm saying that.
Where is passport office? What is passport office 24 hours? The port has been running 24 hours before they came into office.
The ports?
Yes.
24 hours?
Yes. You people clear the goods. Yes. Go and check why.
I'm not aware.
You are not aware. Please.
Because
the
it
port,
was announced.
No. It's been there. It's been there. The port has been running in the night long ago before January.
Really?
Yes. Just call anybody at the port and find out.
Okay.
But if you say passport office 24 hours, which passport office is running 24 hours?
The Adenta passport office.
They work overnight.
Every time you go there, you apply
for.
Oh,
please.
No, sorry.
Please.
But, how do you call it? DVLA, Adenta branch.
DVLA.
Yes.
So 2 a.m. you go to DVLA to.
You want a passport? You apply. You can go there and apply for.
Please.
You can go and apply for your driver's license or whatever it is that you want from DVLA, roadworthy, and so on and so forth.
No, please, let's be serious. Is that the 24-hour economy we wanted to create for Ghanaians? Is that the 24-hour? How many people go and check data from Adenta where you are talking about? How many people access that facility over that period? Please, let's be focused on creating business opportunities where Ghanaians will be able to be productive. If you go to other jurisdictions, when we talk about 24-hour work, you are talking about productive sectors. People that are generating money, generating business, creating employment, and the rest of the country.
I have a friend who works at the Ghana Ports and Harbours.
Yes.
Ghana Ports.
Mm-hmm.
She was telling me that now she works. They work in a shift, and that she now works from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. the following day. It didn't used to be the case.
Oh, who told you
I
that?
report just a few weeks ago.
No.
I didn't know she
that's
works
not
at
accurate.
Ghana Ports. So now she says she works at night. Sometimes she does morning till evening. So I'm saying that if what she's saying is anything to go by, it means that a setting system has started. That's a shift system, where now more hands are being required to run the port, which is more people, more hands, and for that matter, more employment. Or you still insist that the port has been working 24 hours?
I believe the conversation around 24-hour economy was not geared towards DVLA, passport office. The port already, I said it's been working.
What was your understanding of the 24-hour economy policy?
I saw 24-hour economy. I shouldn't even be saying this, but I helped them. I thought 24-hour economy was looking at how to bring production, how to bring manufacturing, how to bring industries to be able to have the capacity to run 24 hours a day.
Oh no, but that's a very limited understanding
it can't
of the 24-hour economy.
It can't be
because the production sector,
when those sectors
it is not
are
only
working,
the production sector that
when those sectors are working, that is when all the other areas you talk about will be triggered.
No, but Isaac, what I'm saying to you, may say, the productive sector is only an aspect of the economy.
And I'm saying
so
that
the services sector, where I'm talking about ports.
Ports I've already told, but DVLE, that's why, no. You see, that's why I said, if end of year, you are here, we go and take statistics on DVLE and then passport office and say that how many people were being served within normal working hours before the introduction of the so-called 24-hour services in those limited places. And then you take data on when it started operations, how many more people are being served after the so-called introduction of 24 hours. Okay. I'm saying that information or that data means nothing or little to the import of what we want to see in this country. All right. What people want, we wanted to create 24 hours to enable us absorb the unemployment situation in this country.
Okay.
Places where we will get productive men, we get production flourish.
Okay.
So if those areas we are not focusing, if those areas we are not getting it done, and we are only doing this service like passport office and DVLE, where very few people, why even in normal times, how many people do we serve at passport office and DVLE?
Okay.
And for how long would we be able to operate such a service over the period of time?
Okay.
But if you are creating opportunities like if there's business, China engagement, if all of those productive areas, we are focusing and putting opportunities for companies to take advantage, then you feel the real impact of the 24 hours. And I'm saying, from year to date, it's always been rhetoric.
Okay. All right. I guess we would have to move on.
Yeah, sure.
Let's move on. And I don't know.
Jane,
we have
not talking about the female president.
No, it's yes. Uncle Kesi wants to have a bite on that.
No,
Uncle
he
Kesi
wants
to have a
to
bite
talk
on
about
that.
it. Please. For
the
me,
president's comments.
Yeah.
What's your understanding of what the president is saying?
Well, I have no understanding.
Ghana to have a female president.
I have no understanding beyond the fact that for Ghana, male, female, everybody is entitled to compete, and if we find you worthy, become a president. But the president is only shaken by the early birds that have raised their head to take over from him, because you expected that this government would be focused in its business, trying to meet the aspirations of Ghanaians. But less than 1 year down the line, they've just started the manhunt for who takes over from President Mahama. And so right from the party hierarchy to the office of the president himself, everybody is looking for an opportunity to be president. And so maybe the president sees in his vice someone who, and I don't know what the president has seen over these 9 months working with her, that he believes that the vice president can take over from him. We are going to assess his performance based on what he's able to deliver. But for me, I think the government is doing us a disservice as a country, focusing more on who becomes presidential candidates rather than focusing on the mandates Ghanaians gave them to deliver to the good people of Ghana. So for now, maybe President Mahama may be interested in the vice president taking over. We will live to see.
Okay. How is he?
Well, I think the facts are very clear. If President Mahama has an assessment of Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman, it's not about 9 months. President Mahama worked with her as Minister of Education for some time. Her record as the first female vice chancellor, at the University of Ghana is also public record. Her distinction as an academic and a researcher and so on is also a matter of public record. So all of these are available not just to President Mahama, but to any and everybody who wants to assess, her capabilities. So it's not about 9 months. I think we should take that out.
I was looking at the governance as a vice president, but that's fine. I think
but all of these things are there for us to look
that's
at,
correct.
Now, beyond that, It is also significant that the president did not specifically mention her, and that those who are mentioning her as the president's choice are engaged in some kind of speculation. You understand? It may well be that the president had her in mind when he spoke, but he didn't mention her. What the president simply said was that Ghana is developing to the extent that women are breaking what he calls the glass ceiling, and made references to significant opportunities offered to women in government, in the security services, in education, and so on, for women to excel. And I'm happy that anybody will be doing that. Women constitute more than 50% of the Ghanaian population. And any attempt to keep them in the background, to deny them, the right of participation in any aspect of the national life, is silly. You understand what I mean? Because you are denying more than half your population an opportunity to contribute to your development, and it doesn't make any sense at all. So that's the context within which the president spoke. Now, having said that, look at all the people, characters, and so on, who want to be president in Ghana. Look at them, all of them. They may be coming from CPP, they may be coming from MPP, they may be all kinds of people in the NDC and so on. If you look at all the array of people and so on, is Professor Jenna Opoku-Agyeman not qualified to become president? Look at the people who are offering themselves. So what is the big deal? What is the problem? What's the big deal? I don't see it.
The big deal is that the president should, for now, concentrate on delivering on his mandate and to choose someone to support for his successor.
What is his mandate? Is his mandate not to make sure that Ghana gets out of the woods? Is his mandate not to make sure that the problems that confront us, even after he has left office, will be dealt with by competent hands? That's part of his mandate.
His people don't want him to take sides.
Which people? Who told you? Which of his people told you that they don't want him to take sides?
Okay.
What did you hear that from?
I'm sure they want him to take sides. I said this.
But you are saying that they don't want him to take sides.
Because our friend.
Who did you speak to?
Oh, plenty. I'm with them.
Mention one.
Oh, Kwesi. You want me to mention the person's name here?
Mention one person.
I beg you, Kwesi.
You can't mention.
On this platform, when we close, I'll tell you the person's name.
So if you can't mention, why are you saying it?
Oh, but I should be able to hold some information in private, in confidence. It's having to help.
So why are you disclosing confidential information here?
Oh, no. It's just the name of the person, but the information out there is clear. The party and his people don't want the president to take sides. Now, if you think...
Is the president not a Ghanaian?
He's a Ghanaian.
Will he not vote in the election?
He will vote.
Is he not enjoined by the Constitution?
So then he should make it clear rather than hiding behind in future. He should say that now if he wants the vice president to take over.
Oh, so you want him to resign so the vice president can...
No, not resign, but say it that when I go, I want Jenna Opoku-Agyeman to be my successor. He should say it now if he is bold.
Are you the one going to tell the president how to speak? What locus do you have? Are you the person going to tell the president how to speak?
Oh, but I can advise the president.
I'm sure.
Okay.
So give me advice.
Yeah, so I'm advising him that if he wants the vice president to take over from him, he should say that now, so that people who are also looking for that will be clear that they are not having the president's support.
That's all your concern.
Part of my concern.
You are not worried about the fact that a large part of your population, more than 50% of your population, has been kept in the background when it comes to leadership. You are not worried about that.
Why wouldn't I?
You are not worried.
We've all supported empowering women.
Oh, you support empowering women?
Why not?
Then there's no disagreement between you and President Mahama. Because all he's saying is that let us empower women.
Let's empower women. We all support empowerment of women.
So you and President Mahama agree?
We agree.
Fantastic. No problem. Yes,
Let me read these messages. Oh, God. All right, so Pastor Ashikwe from Asylum now says that tomorrow, Honorable said the 24-hour economy should focus on productive sectors of the economy only. He said it should be about money-generating ventures and nothing more. I believe the security sector should be generating more also, isn't it? Interesting. Why? DVLA doesn't generate money. They generate oil, isn't it? Okay. Look, there's nothing the MPP would appreciate about anything the NDC does. Let's move on. Now, this one here from Carlos from Odododio says that, good morning, gentlemen. When it comes to our relationship with China and what Ghana has gained from it, the history speaks for itself. The NPP went to China empty-handed and returned with Chinese nationals who came here to engage in Galamsey, destroying our environment. That is their record. On the other hand, President Mahama and the NDC went to China to seek development, innovative ideas, and support to restore and protect the environment that the NPP's actions had damaged. While the NPP brought them here to destroy, President Mahama brought them here to repair. That is a clear difference between the two political parties. Carlos from Odododio, and I say, God bless you. Al-Hassan Bosa from Tema says that, he says, Assalamu alaikum. The Attorney General, Dr. Yene, must revisit this Ahmed Swale murder case. The prosecutors did a poor job. Discharging the suspect doesn't mean the case is over. I also believe the prosecutor handling this case must be changed because there are evidence of Kennedy Ejapong inciting the public against the late Ahmed Swale. Sam Aku Kelly from East Legon Hill says, Moro, good morning to you and your panelists. Truth be told, I think that the 1D1F ideas as implemented by the previous government was more of a political slogan and just another waste of national resources. One would have thought that by now those factories would have been producing a number of items such that we no longer have to be compelled to import them, thereby improving Ghana's import substitution position. Any attempt, therefore, to justify national expenditure on the program would amount to throwing more dust into the eyes of Ghanaians. So, Alhaji Hamza from Pig Farm says, good morning, my brother. Truth be told, I am particularly happy to see that President Mahama has taken the opportunity to build stronger relationship between Ghana and China. Improving our relationship with China is the way to go, and that is a good move being taken by the president, and he must be commended for that. China, in my view, has more to offer to us than the West. America and the Trump will give you something with the right hand, and then they will turn around and use the left hand to take it back. They cannot be trusted. I salute President Mahama for this smart move, and it is in the interest of Ghana. So Manche Bruce II, who is a lecturer at Takrady Technical University, he says, good morning, bro. Ghana's economic engagement with China requires strategic prudence. Our country's adoption of trade liberalization policies in the mid-1960s, which supplanted import substitution, industrialization, ISI, has yielded limited benefits given China's competitive prowess. Ghana should focus on building a robust business environment to bolster the local economy through strengthening initiatives like the 1D1F program and promoting manufacturing and value addition to drive self-reliance and sustainable development. Uncle Kwesi can do mischief in a very beautiful way. I can't stop laughing. He says, anyway, many thanks to him for the copy of his book. Greetings to Honorable Yabuama, The Pride of Ifia. Manche Bruce II from Takrady. Now, Samuel Brian Boabing, he says that, good morning, Ghana has a female vice president. Yes, President Mahama attends a women's conference in China. Is our vice president only useful for ceremonial purposes? Ghana gains nothing from this zero tariff compact with China because we export almost nothing to them. They, on the other hand, will benefit since we import everything and anything from China, including toothpicks and even gari. We need to get serious as a country. Settings will not take us anywhere. Samuel Brian Boabing from Awoshi. Sani Salihu from Accra says, let's keep it real. The school placement system in Ghana is often hijacked by parents who want to secure spots for their awards in top schools. They leverage the special placement system, grease palms, and make deals to get their kid in. No matter what, it's like a cocoa season for some agents and schools where money talks and fairness takes a back seat. Until parents let go of the prestige and focus on merit, these shady deals will continue. Maybe it's time to rethink our priorities and let the system work as intended. And it says, good morning. That's coming from Sani Salihu. Tafa Inamra here. That's my penultimate. I read this, my last but one message. Good morning, Audu. When the people said Nana Ado's government was not fighting Galamsey, they were right. Annie, oh, okay. So Tafa, Tafa. My name is Moro. This is not Annie. Okay. So Amaria, who is watching us on YouTube said, did you even build 2 effective companies under 1D what I've mentioned? We want to know how effective they are. That's from Amaria. And then this one, Kobisaki says, it's a huge step for Ghana and China. We as a country just have to be careful how we deal with this and not abuse the zero tariff, an opportunity to import technology and build our industries. That's from Kobisaki. Now, but Mark Kennedy says that, please, the president has been in power for 10 months, so give him a break. Okay, Mark from Kennedy is watching on YouTube. Now, finally, Makafi Nunekpe, oh, that's the one. So, Eben, sorry, from Kwabinya says, the micro minority can make all the noise. It will not go anywhere. We saw their baseball performance the last 8 years period. They should applaud the Honorable Health Minister. Oh, okay. Yeah, this one, I think, is just there. Okay. I guess that would have to end it here. But before I go, happy birthday to Clue Fortune Bright. Clue Fortune Bright. You know, interestingly, I've been calling him Fortune Force. I didn't know that was his full name. Clue Fortune Bright. Today is your birthday. I'm told you are 45 years today. And you don't look your age though. I mean, you know, he looks very young, but he's 45. How old is he? This is incredible. Oh, he's 50. Wow. Wow. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Fortune. Oh, he's 30. Oh, why are you confusing me? Okay, 30. Okay, 30 is the authentic number. All right, so that's it. All right. So happy. That's the man in your shot. Happy birthday. Clue Bright Fortune. He's a very powerful guy. Very powerful guy. Anyway, so we can only wish you the best. Annie, myself, the entire production team, Jennifer, everybody, Harriet, and the entire management of Metro TV and the Ignite Media Group. We can only wish you the best as you celebrate your 30th birthday today. Continue to be who you are. God bless you and guide you and to your and for you to achieve your dreams in life. Happy birthday, Fortune. So I'll end with Musa Batua's message, and it says that Moro 24 economy has been fully started with fighting Galamsey, of which the security zones has been declared for armed forces to man Galamsey-prone areas. Anybody who fails to appreciate the remarkable efforts being made in the fight against Galamsey is simply engaged in petty politics. What we're witnessing from 9 months and Blue Water Guards is unprecedented. My regards to that Ato Ahoy. Unfortunately, we couldn't deal with Galamsey today. There's been some development, but as for Galamsey, we'll keep talking about it till we see the end of it. So I'd want to say a big thanks to you, Mr. Kwesi Pratt Jr., for joining us. It's always a pleasure having you, and also Isaac Ebuamanyako, MP for the Efia constituency. And also a big thanks to you, E.D. Mukhtar. You are a regular viewer of the show. Thank you very much for watching the show. E.D. Mukhtar of Adenta. E.D. Mukhtar of Adenta. Thanks for... Oh, Raila Odinga is dead.
Oh.
Wow. When? Kenya's Raila Odinga, I've just been told, it's breaking news.
Wow.
Just this morning. Whoa. Wow. What a way to end the show. Anyway, so in case you haven't heard it.
Victory Garlic Mixture na wati ni dina ati ni say na edro ni tie na no kwasem ne say edro we adwuma ye titru pa ne say ebeboa ananna ne srade ewo ni padua ni muntin mu ama ohu atwo kura de dika obabi wo ho a okomfikyire a ema edro ewu hia ye Victory Garlic Mixture ebi kura wo bekọ a ewie wo ansa na ba ye Victory e na wu hia wunya Victory no ma na busumi biara ubenya ufikyire akwa empa ho kura eno de akira obi wo ho ani ti ne ta adwa no obi wo ho ye adwuma kakra bia no abrɛ na nakoma bɔ ne periperi ni nyina ye mogya entimi mfa akoma ni mu kwa adwen mu eno ne kɔfa saa de ne ba ɔdɔfo mesrɛw so wo ho na wonsɛm ta adwe e bia wonsa no sei ana